See me? Oh, here, I'm back. I don't know what just happened. I just disappeared for a minute. I'm hoping I'm back. I think I'm back now. Anyway, Hex News episode 44. It's April 6th. It is Hex Day 857. Thanks everyone for being here. Mr. Sid cannot be here tonight. He is apparently fighting off COVID. So he is sick with COVID at home. So hopefully Sid can have a speedy recovery and be feeling better for next week. That's the other thing I wanted to mention is that I am dropping down to just once a week. Going to be doing just Wednesdays from now on. I have another stream going on that I do on Saturdays. And, you know, family life is just demanding, so can't exactly stream as much as I would like to. So we're going to be down to 1 day a week now, Wednesdays only for Hex News. So yeah, that is where we stand. Hex Day 857. Let's say hi to everyone in the chat. What is up, T-Shares? Thanks for being, wow, you were first since 8:34. That is almost, that's like 45 minutes ago. Good job, man. Completion fails. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Last BizPulse stream went over a little bit, like I don't know, eight or 9 minutes over. So just wanted to give those guys a chance to finish up what they were talking about Maximus, which is a pretty cool smart contract. I definitely support Maximus. Glad they had some people on to talk about that. Completion fails. What's going on? Mobius, good to see you. J-Pon, PulseX, Tony Chan, Alan. Oh my God! Every time I forget how to say your name, I'm just going to call you Alan FA from now on. Probably everybody else knows for all the times I've asked how to pronounce it, and I'm just a moron. And my memory sucks. So, Crypto Gains Club 369. What is up? Davis, yes, good to see you, Davis. Hex Farmer, what is going on? I saw you commenting in the last stream that you hadn't caught Hex News yet, so I'm glad to see you here. Welcome to Hex News. But pretty much we just go over everything that's happened in Hex and what's happening, and any other news we might have in the whole Richard Hart ecosystem, pretty much. So good to see you, Thomas Turner, Anonymous. Yes, it's been a little while, man. It's been since I think March 16th, I think was the last time I streamed. So yeah, I was actually out of town working for a couple of weeks. So I considered streaming, but I wasn't really feeling it because I was working pretty long days while I was out of town, and I was just kind of tired by the time streaming time rolled along. So what are you gonna do? But we're back now. Should be a little bit more consistent, I think, at this point. I think we can be more consistent. My new job is a little bit more predictable, so I should be able to work around it a lot more easily than my previous job. It's also a way better job, so happy about that. Peanut Butter Hexer, what is up? Marcus99. Who else we got? Tin Top. Pabalaba, what's up, Pabalaba? What's up, Franklin St. Hex? Good to see everyone here. Oh, smash that like button, says Franklin. Thank you. Uncle Larry, yes, get well, Sid, for sure. Who else? Hex Sparky, a wild SJ. Mac 10, human hex trafficker. What's up? What's up, Davis? $5 super chat, man. Davis says it's cheating when you show up early and declare first. Yes. You can only arrive at the beginning of the broadcast and then type. No, if you're paying attention, man, you can catch it. You can't be disqualified for being early. Sorry, Davis, I gotta disagree with you on that one, but I do agree with that $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Russ, good to see you as well, buddy. Good to see you as well. Let's see who else we got. Crypto Compassion, Thoughts Child, what's going on, man? Yes, it's been a while. Brissology, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. MJ Money, great to have everyone here with us on Discourse Syndicate. Happy to be here. All right, so we got, let's do the show. Let's see what we got. Hex has been pretty much sticking around the, I guess, 12 to 15 cent range lately. We got a couple of, well, have a couple of pumpy days and then a couple of dumpy days. Today we've been a little bit down since, I'd say, well, since earlier today. There were a couple of bigger sales that I saw go through. What's up, Jen Hex, Craig Wadding, Hex Deck? What's going on? Howdy from Montana. From Montana. I said Montana. Where the hell's Montana? I don't want to go there. All right, man. Good to see you, Hex Deck. So yeah, right now we're sitting at 0.128, just under 13 cents, down a little bit from earlier today, but holding pretty steady. I think everybody's waiting, trying to be patient, but waiting anxiously for PulseChain and for all the news to know when that fork is going to happen and when when our balances are basically going to be snapshot for use, lack of a better term. But yeah, I think for the most part, we're still just stuck in that holding pattern, and we're not going to really see any major movement until we get some big news about PulseChain, which like I said in the title, I think it really feels like we're getting close here. There's a lot of news that's coming out. Every day we're getting new features on testnet, and we're just new information coming from Richard Hart pretty much steadily at this point. And as we know, there's only a couple things left on the list to be done before they're ready for mainnet. So very exciting time. And I think if anybody's been playing with testnet like I have, then you get really excited about it. And I can't wait until I'm playing with real money on mainnet. But I've been messing around with testnet a lot on PulseX, and it's really great. I love it, and I'm gonna play around with it a little bit actually on stream in a little while. Show you guys what I've been doing on PulseX. But I've really been having a good time with it. Fizz on me, fizz on me, fizz me, fizz on me. I got it. I got it until next time. When I look at it again, I'm like, wait, how do I say that again? It's not even like that far fetched from the way it's spelled. It should not be this complicated for me, and I apologize. So yes, Astro Rev, smash the likes, guys. Let's get Discourse Syndicate to 10,000 subscribers. We're at like 9,800, I think, or something like that. So we're getting really close to that 10,000 subscriber mark, which is pretty cool.
Sorry.
Tin Top says Montana is a nightclub in West Hollywood. Yeah, I figured there was definitely some puns waiting to happen from that one. That was definitely a Freudian slip, if there ever was one. Montana. I love it. All right, so thank you, Alan, for changing the name for me. I really appreciate it, actually. So, okay, cool. So yeah, so we're at about almost 13 cents. T-shares are holding at 27.19 US dollars. And let's take a look at Hex Daily Stats. Oops, that's not Hex Daily Stats. That's a chart. All right, so Hex Daily Stats. Yeah, 27.51 US dollar T-share price. T-share rate 21,243 hex. Man, it was only like what, a month or two ago. I think it was like, no, maybe it was probably like 2-3 months ago that we were looking at just crossing over the 20,000 hex mark for the T-share rate. And look, we're already at 21,243. It's crazy, man. If you have hex and you haven't staked it to get T-shares, then you're wasting your hex, right? Because your hex could be just pumping out more new hex like every day. That's what T-shares do. They just pump out more hex, right? Based on the payout. So payout today is 5.97 hex, right? So we'll call it 6 hex for ease of language here. So 6 hex per day. I'm sorry, 6 hex per day per T-share, right? So every T-share that you have, based on how much hex you have staked, you'll be getting 6 hex per T-share. So when the UTC day clicked over at 0 UTC, which was about an hour and a half ago, at that time the contract counted up your T-shares, multiplied them by 6, and said, okay, we owe Brian this much hex now, for how many T-shares he had, right? And that's what the contract does at the end. When you hit end stake, it's going to go back and it totals up all the hex that you got from your T-shares every day. And what you're getting is a piece of hex's inflation, right? So hex inflates at 3.69% annually. And that inflation is given to the stakers only. So T-shares are how the contract knows how much of that inflation you are to be given at the end of your stake. So if you have a 1 T-share stake, you're getting 6 hex every day currently. And that's all going to add up at the end. And you're going to get all the yield that you accrued over the time, the duration of the stake, and you're going to get your principal. It's all going to be deposited back in your wallet, and you can decide at that point if you want to restake your principal and sell your interest, or restake it all, or sell it all, or do whatever you want to do with it. But that's how Hex works. It's super simple. Under the hood, though, there's a lot of complex things going on, and it's a really unique coin in the space. Most other staking is done, with third parties, and you're introducing risk, counterparty risk, just to be able to stake coins. And you're probably giving your keys away as well. Probably giving your keys away, so you no longer actually control your coins at that point. And that's how most of the staking is done in crypto. There's I don't know if there are any other coins that have the staking. I mean, there probably are a couple now at this point, mostly copycats, but the staking is built right into the smart contract, which is what makes Hex so unique. So just a little info for you there. Rothschild says that where'd it go? I tell my potential onboards nowadays, imagine having an asset whose value could literally be in a drop phase and you're still clocking yields. Yep, exactly. No matter what, man, we're still getting our 6 hex per day. And that's probably going to go up, because we've seen that, first of all, the share rate only goes up. We've seen the payout mostly only go up because, as time goes by, we're going to be seeing those payouts increasing. We're going to see more end stakes, more emergency end stakes. There's going to always be people emergency end staking and increasing that T-share payout. And all the other metrics that add to that payout, which I'm not even fully aware of how that payout is calculated completely. That's something I need to do a little more research on personally to figure out. But yeah, so 6 hex per day is a fantastic payout. I can't remember when I first started. I think it was like 3. I think it was like 3 hex per day or something. I can't fully remember, but it was definitely not 6 hex per day. I can tell you that much. So let's take a look, and let's see here. See if anybody's got anything, questions. If T-share rate will be the same amount of hex for 1 T-share on Pulse, but PX will start at 0, wouldn't T-shares be way cheaper? So anonymous, T-shares could potentially be cheaper. So the contract's going to be copied over onto PulseChain exactly wherever the fork happens, right? At that, so it's going to be where it is currently, or I should say at the time of the fork, wherever the T-share rate is, that's what it's going to still be on PulseChain, right? It's going to start. So say right now it's at 21,243 hex. If the PulseChain fork happened right now, that's what the T-share rate would be on PulseChain. Now, it could potentially cost less. Now, like, if we look at what the T-share price is right now, it's $2,700, right? 2,750. But if hex, and that's based on the current hex price of 0.129. So if hex is cheaper, if there's a brief period of time or whatever period of time where after PulseChain launches, hex is very cheap, then yeah, the T-share rate will be the same. It'll still cost you 21,243 hex to get a T-share base rate, but the price of that in US dollars will be dramatically less if the price of hex is less, So it all depends on the price of hex is what determines how much you're paying for your T-shares, right? Hopefully that makes sense. T-shares could potentially, along with hex itself on PulseChain, be cheap, although I wouldn't count on it. I've been saying this from the start. I don't believe it's going to be cheap. I think the way that the markets work these days, if you look at any tokens that exist on multiple chains, like Doge is one of them. You can find Doge on BSC. You can find Doge on its own chain, wherever. Most of them, and all the a lot of the altcoins that are out like now, like they come out on BSC, they come out on Ethereum, they come out on Avalanche, they come out on Polygon. And if you look at those tokens on all these different chains, they often have the same price, or at least very, very close. And we can see that if we just look at Hex's price so if we look at Hex on Ethereum, right? So let's find Hex on Ethereum. Actually, we already know Hex on Ethereum is 0.129, right? We were just looking at it. So here's Hex on Polygon, 0.13. Basically the exact same price, right? If we go back and we look at Hex on Ethereum, we'll probably see the same number. So here's Hex on Ethereum, 0.13, 13 cents, right? So that is my point exactly. These tokens that exist on multiple chains typically have the same price. So I think that's going to happen relatively quickly when PulseChain launches. I think Hex is going to achieve the same price that it has on Ethereum at that current time. Now, the launch itself is going to affect the price in whatever way. We don't know what, right? We don't know what it's going to do. It could make it pump. It could make it go down. It could split in half. It could double. There's a million things that could happen, right? It could stay the same, could have no change. And then if it does that, and then Hex on PulseChain reaches the parity with Ethereum, then we're going to have literally our bags doubled in a second, right? In a moment's time, our bags are just going to double, which would be fine with me. I'd be okay. I'd be okay with the price staying exactly where it is and just PulseChain launching, and then I have double the tokens now suddenly. That would be pretty awesome. So I don't think really we could ask for anything more than that, right? For the price to be exactly the same as it is at launch on both chains. I think that would be amazing. So Alan, there's I don't know why Hex is on Polygon. I don't know who put it on Polygon. I don't know, I don't know who launched it, if it was the same devs that launched the, Ethereum Hex. I don't know. All I know is it's not Hex to the fullest extent. You can't stake it. The hex.com, go.hex.com doesn't work on Polygon. None of the staking front ends work on Polygon. I think it's because it's like layer 2, so I don't fully understand it. I know I asked Nerd Girl, she knows a little bit more about Polygon. And she said basically Hex on Polygon is like Hex Light, or like Diet Hex. It's basically, it's not, all you're going to get is the price performance of it. You're not going to be able to stake it. That's pretty much the main thing that's missing, which is everything, right? So that's why it's basically Hex Light. you can't really do anything with it except, if you want to bridge it over to Ethereum, you can do that with Polygon. With any assets that are native to Ethereum that are on Polygon or whatever, you can bridge them over with the Polygon Matic bridge. You just have to look into how to do that, and at that point, you're going to pay whatever fee you're trying to avoid by getting Hex on Polygon. You're going to pay that fee bridging it into Ethereum. So you're not going to save any headaches or any money by using Polygon for Hex. Right. Yeah, Franklin, exactly. Bridging can be expensive. So in my opinion, there's really no point in using Polygon on a regular basis for Hex. Unless you're like some kind of magician and you know how to make it like, get it onto Ethereum cheaply. But yeah, I don't really mess with Polygon. The only time I did is I had some tokens that were issued on Polygon. I don't know if anyone's familiar with PYR, but I had some of that at one point in time. This was right at the time PulseX launched. And so what I did was I traded my tokens on Polygon for Hex on Polygon, and then I sacrificed it directly on Polygon, which was great because the fees were super low, and I still got the same credit, and I was able to use the same address that I used on Ethereum to sacrifice on the Polygon chain. And then so I got the volume bonus multiplier on my on both of my sacrifices from both chains. So that was a good strategy, at least for the sacrifice phase, was utilizing the Polygon chain for that, because it's cheaper to transact on, it's cheaper to send and whatnot. So you could have saved yourself a couple of bucks using Polygon to sacrifice for the PulseX sacrifice. But so yeah, but yeah, so I think that Hex is going to probably reach the Ethereum price right after PulseChain launches. So I wouldn't count on any cheap Hex after launch. I wouldn't be waiting on that or expecting it. I think that's probably not going to happen, and I know a lot of other people that share that opinion. And we all want expensive Hex pretty much everywhere, right? That's what we always like to say. We don't really want it cheap anywhere. So, all right, let's slide over to hex.vision. See what we got. We got a 9.633% of total Hex is locked, and that is staked and in the liquidity pools, right? Current addresses, 443,775. There's a difference. Yesterday we had 434, so about 340 new addresses, but since yesterday. So that's a pretty good increase. And now we can take a look at Etherscan. See, Etherscan's got us sitting at 289,765 holders of Hex right now. Up a little bit. Take a look at the holders. I always like to see. So now, if you hadn't seen it, here is Richard Hart saying, this is what? This is on the 5th. So today is the 6th. So this was yesterday. Richard gave everyone the signal of no more sacrificing for PulseChain or PulseX. So a hard stop now. All right. Now it's no more trickling in. You're not going to get credit if you sacrifice. So you're going to be doing a true and actual sacrifice. If you send in coins right now, you're not going to get anything for them. So really don't expect anything from that, right? If you send anything in now, you're an idiot. You just literally threw your money out the window, right? Don't sacrifice. It can't be any more clear than this, right? Hey, everyone, for real, do not sacrifice anymore after 0 UTC tonight. So that was yesterday. So yesterday when UTC clicked over, that is the moment the Easter egg, and of course that triggered a flurry of comments. Easter egg, what's the Easter egg phase? Okay, Richard's just talking about the fact that he decided to accept the sacrifices after the official phases were over. So that was being later termed the Easter egg phase. Okay, so that is now over. There is no curve any longer. There is no credit for anything. If you send anything in, you totally just lost it, and so you just gave someone money for free. So now, that being said, I want to go over and I want to see if anyone is actually sacrificing still, because I know there's going to be someone that's still going to do it. Let's see. All right, let's look at so we're looking at, oh no, yeah, nothing's happening. Look at that. I can't believe people are actually listening. Look, oh no, wait, never mind. That's 3 hours ago. Okay, so 3 hours ago, it was still too late. So people are still fucking sending money in. Yo, man, come on. What is wrong with everyone? All right, let's see. But because we also got to look at the ERC20 transactions, right? Okay, so 1 day, 1 hour. So I think these people are probably sending in at the last minute, right? Those are the last finals. I think this 12-hour guy is screwed. I think his $50 is gone. Someone sent in 658 hex like 19 hours ago. I think that's toast. So they just gave someone some free hex, right? Man, I would have taken it. You could have sent it to, if someone's looking for somewhere to just send money and they don't want it anymore, I will post my address. I can post an Ethereum address anywhere you want. I'll post it right here. I'll post it on Twitter. Wherever you want, I'll post an Ethereum address and we can call it new sacrifice address, right? And you can just send your money to me. I'll put it to good use. Feel free. So if anyone's interested in that, if you wanted an address where you can just throw away money, just let me know. I'll hook you up. I can set that up for you. Just let me know. No expectations, Russ. You definitely don't have any expectations of that. Yep, it's really dumb though. I mean, I'm gonna keep looking, and I guarantee you, every day I'm gonna see someone send some money in there. It's you just can't stop people from being stupid. You just can't. It's gonna happen no matter what you do. So hey, people are gonna throw their money away, right? It's still better than buying shit coins. Sending money to a dead sacrifice address is still better than buying shit coins. You might get more out of that than you would out of buying most of the shit coins out there. So that's that. So let's take a look at Staker. All right. I'm going to get this out of here. Oh, wait. No, before we do that, let's do this. Bam. PulseX. All right. So anyone that hasn't played around on the PulseChain testnet 2B, V2B, right? Version 2B. Hey, Terrafin1, what's going on? Good to see you. Kyler Kaufman, good to see you. Human hex trafficker, you're ridiculous. Did you sacrifice? You did, didn't you? You did sacrifice today. I knew it. Okay, so check it out. If you want to know how to get on PulseChain testnet, this is my suggestion, right? Sign in on your MetaMask, right? Get your MetaMask set up, and then go to this. Go to app.v2b.testnet.pulsex.com, right? That'll bring you to the test testnet PulseX website. Then you'll be able to see the interface that they have created for us, and it's really awesome. I really like it. Very clean, Uniswap styling. That's pretty much the dominant form that you see on dexes these days. They all pretty much look the same. But this is, it's nice and clean. I like the nice big logos. I think it looks good, and it's really simple, and I think that's important for mass adoption, right? You want something to be super simple. There's not a million options, and not a million buttons to click on. So if you are the first time you're getting on this, you're going to want to connect your wallet. Now, the reason I say to go to this site first in your browser is that when you go to connect the wallet, it will add the PulseChain V2B testnet automatically, right? So that's cool, because then you don't have to go and type in all the parameters, the RPC parameters manually. It just automatically sets it up for you and adds the network to your MetaMask wallet. So that's cool. I like doing it that way personally. So if you go to MetaMask, you see that you're connected, PulseChain testnet up here, and yeah, it's really awesome. I love PulseX. So you got your trade tab right here. Right now I'm on the exchange tab. So if I wanted to, I could get some. Let's see, what do I want to get? How about some HEX, right? Let's buy some HEX with some Pulse. All right, so I got like what, 400,000 Pulse. If you don't now I used the address that I sacrificed for PulseX from. So then, awesome thing about V2B, we got our sacrifice balances. So yeah, if you sign into the testnet, the newest V2B version of testnet with the wallet that you sacrificed from either PulseChain or PulseX, you will see your balance in your wallet. All you gotta do is add the tokens, right? And you can find those pretty easily. If you go to Richard Hart's Twitter page and you scroll back like a few days, he posted all the parameters that you need to get the PulseX token added and whatnot. Pulse is automatically there because it's the native token of the network. So yeah, and if you don't do that, if you use just a random address, you can go over to the faucet and you can get some free, I think 10 test pulse for every day. I think you can hit it up once daily. So let's try a little 100,000. So this is what did I say? I have 400,000. So let's do 200,000 pulse equals 380 fake dollars, right? I'm going to get 326 fake hex worth 378 fake dollars. Let's go ahead and swap. Brings me over to MetaMask, blah, 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 confirm. If you don't have hex added to your MetaMask, I don't know why you wouldn't, but you can do it easily there. And there we go. So it looks like it's completed. Now I have my 326 test hex. Beautiful. So yeah, that's a common trade. Your common trade. You can go to liquidity if you have any. I do have some liquidity, but so you can farm with your liquidity, right? I did provide some. So I'll go over to the Earn tab right here in the top left. You go to the Earn tab and you go over to Farms. And this is where you'll see that where you staked your LP token, right? So I had the PLP, which was the PulseX PLS liquidity pool token, right? So I've got about 4 million of those, 4.7 million of those staked right now. And I'm farming that. I just started farming that earlier today for the incentive token. So I just barely started earning that, only about $1.30 in there so far. If you wanted, whenever you get to a certain amount, you can harvest. Just click the harvest button, sign the transaction, and that's it. Right? Very cool. So this is, this is where you would if you want to add the amount of your liquidity your LP token that you have staked, if you want to increase that amount, you can hit the plus. You can subtract from it. If you subtract any of it, then you'll see it. You'll see it pop back up over in the liquidity tab again, right? Then you'll see it again. You'll see how many LP tokens you have, and your LP tokens will be in your wallet as well. So all this is all new to me. I've never done anything with liquidity providing. I've never really done any farming or any of that. So all of this is new. That's why I wanted to get up on testnet and try this stuff out, because I wanted to see what it's all about. You know, I've never experienced it before, and I'm glad this is going to be the first place that I do it. And I think I'm definitely going to be doing some liquidity providing and some farming once mainnet goes live. I definitely want to provide, like I have here, the PulseX Pulse pair. I think that's going to be a good earning pair. A lot of trades going between those two tokens when at the very beginning of mainnet launch. I think a lot of people are going to be swapping PulseX for Pulse, you know, so that would be a good pool to be providing in. Now the other section in the Earn tab is pools. And this is where you stake PulseX directly. You can stake PulseX in this pool, and you can earn other tokens. So right now they have the party token, PRT. These are obviously just all placeholders, right? These aren't the real tokens. I don't think they're going to be the real tokens. I doubt that the incentive token is going to be called party, but hey, maybe it will. I don't know. But so here's a live PulseX pool that I am staked in, right? Click here, get your details. So I have the max in this particular pool. The max stake per user is 10 million PulseX, right? So I've got my 10 million PulseX staked here. That's about 7,700 fake dollars, right? Testnet bucks. So yeah, and then I've had it that ends in a couple of days. I think they're like weekly pools or something like that. So I don't know a whole lot about it. I do know it seems like it's going to be fairly profitable. I don't think it's going to be. I think these numbers are out of whack. I'm not sure why. The APRs don't match up with the actual earnings. But for some reason it's not set properly. This is just testnet. We can't expect the dollar values to really make sense. So either way, this maybe the numbers are right, but the dollar value of it is just kind of out of whack. That's probably what my guess would be. But yeah, so this is another way to earn passive income on PulseChain with PulseX, just staking the PulseX in the pool on a weekly basis. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm really pumped and really excited about all this stuff that is going to be happening on PulseChain once it goes and launches. Garo Crypto 5555 Club, what is up? Hey, Melv Tony, I didn't see you sneak in. What's going on, bud? Oh, 130. Did we get a little Hex news pump? Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. We did. I'm on the 30-minute. Let's see if we got an hour chart. Green candle. Oh, yes. Yes, baby. Look at that. You see that green candle? Yes. X News prevails once again with the green candle. Joker would be happy. Joker would be proud. I think he's a little upset he's not the only green candle maker anymore. There's another green candle maker in town, but hey, what are you gonna do? What's up, Francis? Garo Crypto. Davin 50. What are you saying here? Davin 050. Let's see. Zoom out. I feel like the world's using new whole. Stop it. So listen, bro. I know, I hear you, man. I wouldn't lose faith. I mean, I think it's a little early to lose faith. Think about it. We're like, what? This is 2 years, right? Little over 2 years in. It's still a new token, still going through, things, still, and still trying to enter new markets. We got a lot of things going on, right? A lot of things going on. And just think about all the, there's a lot of things that we're waiting to happen, right? We're waiting for PulseChain. And then there's a lot of other big events that are going to be happening. We got the documentary is actually looking pretty awesome. Obviously, PulseChain launching, and there's other things that I can't think of at the moment, but there's a lot of things that we're waiting on. So I think that's kind of like why we're in this, anticipation. Everybody's kind of like, pent up, and I think the chart kind of reflects that. It's like a lot of indecision. I don't think people really know. First of all, economically, there's a whole lot of indecision going on in the world right now. There's a lot of things that are causing, people to really not know what to do financially, right? So there's that. But um, mostly I think we're just waiting. We're just waiting for PulseChain to launch, so people don't know what to do. The snapshot or the fork hasn't happened yet, so they don't. I guess they probably don't know what the best play is. Maybe they want to wait and see if they can get cheap hex. Maybe, you know, they want to do whatever. So, but my thought is, if the best play is going to be to buy hex right now, it's cheap. You can get a really good deal on it, and you hold it or you stake it. You're going to get a copy of either the liquid hex or the T shares on PulseChain. Then you're going to have, two bags instead of one. It's literally buy one get one free right now. So I think a lot of people seem to be forgetting that, that this is the time to accumulate, and in anticipation of PulseChain. You want your copies, right? You want as much copied over as possible, and the T-share rate is only going up. So why would you wait to stake? Oh, it's going to be cheaper to stake on PulseChain. Okay, who cares? You wait to stake on PulseChain. Now you only, you lost out on that share rate, whatever the increase was. You paid more for your T shares, you know, and you lost out on all the hex your stake could have been making all that time you waited, right? Because really, we don't know. I mean, sure, it feels close, but it could be another 6 months. I mean, things happen with this kind of stuff. This is software. This is blockchain. I mean, this is complicated stuff. There's a reason nobody's done this yet. Nobody's copied the whole system state of Ethereum yet for a reason, because it's difficult and there's a lot involved, right? And no one had the motivation to do it until Richard Hart came along and decided he wanted to do it, and he wanted to make it easier for hexagons to utilize the contract. I mean, and the Ethereum blockchain was making it near impossible for most users to, use the system and to use it profitably. And it was getting very difficult to do that, and to not, take massive hits on gas fees, just to end your stakes and do your swaps and everything. Everything, you got to really pick and choose the times that you use Ethereum. I mean, let's see what gas is looking like right now. Let's see. So right now we're at like 47, 48, which is not great. I mean, that's pretty high in my opinion. That's going to be a $20 swap. It's going to be a $20 or $30 swap at that gas. And that's terrible. If you try to end a stake that you've had for a year with 50 Gwei, you're going to be paying a lot of money, man. You're going to be paying, well over $1,000 to end that stake. And that's terrible. I mean, that really makes the margins, that really limits, you can only basically be profitable with bigger stakes and longer stakes. Unless it's a really, really gigantic stake, you can do short stakes in that kind of look, it's just jumped up to 60. I mean, this is not cool. This is not usable, and that was the problem. And that's what inspired this whole thing. I think a lot of people maybe have forgotten that, it was Richard's desire to be able to to maintain the functionality of Hex is what drove him to make PulseChain. So it all came from Hex. All PulseChain, PulseX, everything that's happening and being built on PulseChain all stemmed from Hex, and for a desire to make Hex more accessible for everybody. So that's you can't forget that. This all came for Hex, and it's really being built for Hex. I know obviously if it's going to succeed, there's going to be a whole lot of other things going on it on the network other than Hex, of course, and it's going to be a full functioning, blossoming network. But don't forget the origins and why it was built. Right? It was built to assist the hexagons in their journeys, right? So they could end their stakes and start stakes and build ladders and not pay ridiculous gas fees along the way. So Richard did it for the hexagons, man. Don't forget that. But it's not true. I'm not a whale, and it's not. And I find Hex to be beneficial for me. I'm a squid. I'm not a whale. I'm that's what, four leagues down from whale, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the performance. Sure, I'd love it if we were back up at 50 cents, but that was kind of a wacky pump. When that happened, it was kind of crazy, and it was definitely overbought, and there was a massive correction as a result. And now I think there's a lot of impatient people, a lot of people that bought, just looking for a quick pump out of it and sold. There's a lot of people that, maybe thought PulseChain was launching sooner and they got tired of waiting and they sold. I mean, the market's pretty bearish right now. You got to remember that. It's not a whole lot of coins and tokens are really performing that well anyway. So generally speaking, Hex is holding it down and holding its price pretty well. So I think don't lose faith, Davin 050. You'll see, man. Just remember when once we do start pumping, it's glorious, man, because it happens and it's a beautiful thing. And there's a lot of people, a lot of people with a lot of money that are interested in protecting that Hex price for a very long time. So just remember that there's people that have a lot of economic power, a lot of economic energy to put into Hex whenever they want to, and when they do, and they God will, what's it called, Rackham's Overwatch. Those are the whales, and they are going to want the price of Hex to be maintained over its lifetime, over the lifetime of their 15-year stakes, right? So they're going to keep onboarding people. They're going to keep getting people into Hex and getting new users and new stakers, and it's just going to keep going. It's just never going to end. And let's see. Let's look. Well, let's look at. So if we look at 1 year performance, we're at 565%. We're up 565% in the last year, right? So overall, still in a pretty good position. Down 8% today, though. So, hey, you got your ups and you got your downs. What are you going to do? You just got to learn to hold through it. That's one thing that Hex helps drastically, man. Having those coins staked and knowing that you're going to take a major hit if you unstake and sell. I mean, that's the best deterrent probably ever, to get people to hold and not unstake. That shit definitely works, because I'll tell you, I'm not trying to unstake emergency and any of my stakes, right? I'm not trying to take a big hit. And if anybody has had to do that, I'll be honest, I've had to do it before. Not anything crazy where I didn't actually lose anything. I ended up very much, but I was in a financial situation and I needed to do it, and I did. Um, but I took a hit. I did take a hit, even though it was a small hit. It was still a hit, and I would have definitely liked to have served the entire duration. And it definitely it definitely made me not want to do it again. I know that. So it the system works, man. It really does work if you are a little bit shaky in times of when the chart's not looking so great. If you're a little shaky handed, the staking function helps quite a bit. So definitely stake, but you don't have to stake long. And now here's the thing, right? Now we have things like Hedron. If you want to create, I've created 3 HSI stakes, all 5555s. You know why? Because it doesn't matter. If at any time I decide, oh, I don't want that Quattro Cinco stake anymore. I hit a button, I tokenize it, I throw it on the NFT market and sell it. Right? That's it. Now there's no sell pressure when you do that. Right? You're not selling hex at all. You're not emergency end staking, so nobody's losing any of their of their yield that they accrued, or nuking their stakes. That's not happening, right? So with Hedron, you've done those two things. You've reduced emergency end staking. Actually, three things. You've increased the amount of max length stakes that have been being made, right? So that number has increased dramatically. Um, and what else did they do? They have reduced the sell pressure because and they've reduced the amount of emergency end stakes. Those are three awesome features, if you ask me. That's a really well designed token, a really well designed smart contract. Because now, if you want to extract a little bit of value from that stake, you can do that as well. You can borrow when you make those HSI stakes. You can borrow some of that Hedron, whatever amount that it says that it will allow you to borrow based on the contract. You can borrow that and you can sell it, and then you just pay it back at whatever the rate is. That's what's it called? That is described in the contract. I haven't done that. I haven't borrowed Hedron, so I'm not really sure what it is, but I see it. It's an option. If I wanted to, I could mint some Hedron. I could borrow from my own stake, basically, and then just pay it back over time slowly. So, I mean, that being an option, and the option to just straight up tokenize and sell the whole entire stake to someone else, you just transferring your stake from one hand to another. Nothing's being sold, right? No hex is being sold. No hex will be harmed in that process, right? So, I mean, that's awesome. That's amazing that those options now exist for us. Options we didn't have 6 months ago. We couldn't do that, right? 3 months ago, we couldn't do that. We could not do this stuff that we can do with Hedron. We were locked in. If we staked, we were locked in until the end of the stake, or you were going to get penalized, right? There were no other options for extracting any value from those stakes, but now you can do that. So there's really there's no excuse for emergency end staking at this point. There's too many options. Maxi is another one, Maximus, right? So I'm really interested to see what they do, because I think that's a pretty awesome smart contract. That's going to be another way that you can extract some value from hex that you've pooled into a giant pool that they're going to make, a giant max length hex stake pool. So it's something that Richard Hart talked about long ago. He talked about the trustless pooling and how that would be a great feature, and someone built it. That's the best thing about the hex community. People talk about great features and great things that we would love to do, and then someone goes and builds it. Did I see did I see Jim Rat sneak in? Hey, what's going on, Jim Rat? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Franklin says he's low-key addicted to staking. I'd rather roll over than leave my precious liquid. Yeah, man, I know. It's true. Every now and then you get the urge, you're like, man, I want to get some more T-shares, man. You know? And I feel like Hedron makes it way easier to increase that T-share count. And guys, if you let's see, if let me see if I can get this other, oh, I don't know where it went. Anyway, if you go into Hedron, right? And see if I can see if I can find this. Hold on. So if you go to Hedron, right? Ooh, drops to 5x in 9 days. Wow. So would it just drop down to 6x then, right? From 7? I think that just happened. So anyway, if you go to the mint section,
It's bedtime. Time to be sleeping. You need to be sleeping.
anyway, all right, never mind. I'm not going to do this. But what I wanted to basically say is that when you go into Hedron, right, and you go into the section where down here where your stakes are, you click on the actions, right? There's a button that says stake info. If you click on stake info, it gives you an HSI stake address. Copy that address. I think in the dropdown it says like you can now track it on stakehex.today. If you copy that HSI address and throw it into your staker in the other wallets section, now you can add those T-shares, those HSI stake T-shares into your total and to affect your league. So then you can move up in your league based on your HSI stakes. You can add those T-shares to your totals now. So that was the only thing I wanted to show you with Hedron. But that's pretty cool. If you I feel like it's making Hedron's making it easier to just like acquire T-shares like more quickly, right? Because psychologically, when you make an HSI stake that you can tokenize it and sell it at any point in time if you need to without taking like a massive hit. Or you can borrow and mint and borrow some of that Hedron from that stake if you want to get a little bit of value. Say you need just like a couple bucks, need a couple $100 or something like that. I can mint whatever Hedron I have available on that stake, right? Or I can borrow some of the Hedron in advance from that stake. And the best way to maximize that is by making Quattro Cincos. I mean, I don't know why anyone would make an HSI anything but a Quattro Cinco, to be honest. I don't see the point in doing anything but max length. It just doesn't make sense any other way, in my opinion. And that's why, everybody else shares those thoughts. You know, what's the point in making a stake any less than max length when you can collateralize, some of the I'm not collateralized, sorry. When you can extract some value from it, up front, you're going to want the most value you're going to be able to extract is going to come from 5555s, right? So, and you're going to get the most on the NFT market for those. And I think that the HSI stakes that people are making now that have the multipliers, any that were made before today had the 7x multiplier and up, right? Between 7 and 10. So any HSIs that were made that, there's going to be a limited number of those in the future that have the multiplier on the Hedron mints, right? So, once you make an HSI stake during this launch phase, you're getting that multiplier for the whole length of your stake. So, you know, only HSI stakes that were made during this launch phase are going to have that multiplier as a feature in you know for their stakes. So that's going to set those apart, you know, especially in that NFT market when you see all the Hedron that you can mint from those stakes, you know, because I think you can mint some of it, and then you know if you decide to tokenize it, you know the rest of it will still be able to be minted, right? So just a lot of cool options that Hedron brought to the table, and I'm a big fan. David, no doubt, man, no doubt, absolutely. Thanks for speaking up, man. You know, it's hard to speak up and let and say that out loud. You know, when you thinking those that kind of shit, it's not easy to always open your mouth and say that. You know, so props to you for speaking up. And then you know, look, you opened it up. You opened up the floor so we could talk about something, and we could talk about why there's no need to be worried, right? And you'll find out the longer term you end up in hex, the less you care about price day to day. You know, you find you only really care about it like when your stakes are ending and maybe you want to sell a little bit of interest or whatever, or you want to buy. Those are going to be the only times you're going to really start looking. You know, after a while, you just don't have to look every day. Sometimes I forget for the entire day. I don't even look until, you know, much later in the day. And that's crazy for me. You know, I'm the kind of guy that was glued to stake wrap at all times. But that's dramatically reduced lately. So, um, yes, Pulse Goddess, you still get the multiplier if you claim. That is actually the purpose. That's like the sole purpose of claiming, is that you get the multiplier. But say you don't want to mint it right now because it doesn't really make sense to mint until the very end of the stake, right? But you know, a lot of us did mint some and sell some and whatever. But yes, for the majority of my stakes, I claimed only um, just to get the multiplier, and that's the whole point of the claim phase. It was suggested by Day 43 OG. He's another member of Discourse Syndicate, another streamer, and he streams. He has another show on Discourse Syndicate, but it was his recommendation that they add the claim function for people that wanted to get, you know, wanted to claim that bonus multiplier, but didn't necessarily want to mint any of the Hedron because they didn't have a reason to mint. You know, they didn't want to sell it. They didn't want the tokens just yet. You know, the smart thing to do is wait till the second to last day. You know, or actually the last day of your stake, right before you end it. That's the best time to mint because that's when you literally mint all of the available Hedron for that particular stake. So now naturally people are going to want to mint, you know, at any time, and you can do that. You know, for your native stakes, you can mint anytime you want. And same thing if you mint. Minting is essentially identical to claiming as far as the multiplier goes, right? So as soon as you mint, you claim, in effect, you claim that multiplier for the rest of the duration of your stake. And same goes for if you make an HSI stake, like I just said before. If you make an HSI stake right now during the multiplier, you get whatever it's at. So if you made one right now, it would be 6x. So you would, you know, I made an HSI earlier today that ended up with a 7x multiplier. I think I got 7x on it. So yes, and good point, Jawa. Best time to mint could be a future AMR bonus day. What he's talking about is an advanced mint ratio bonus day, which there haven't been any of those yet, but that's something that can happen based on I think it's based on whenever there's a certain amount of supply that has been borrowed or something like that. It triggers this advanced mint ratio and um, incentivizes people to mint their Hedron to increase the supply or something like that. Something like that is the reason for that. So yes, you could have an AMR bonus day. Jameson Brandon, thank you. Thank you very much, man. Love it. Elf Tony with the updates. Love it, man. All right, so I got one more thing I want to show you, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So just talk a little bit about T-shares and what's the cheapest T-share that you can buy, right? So right now, as we know, it's like 21,000 something hex to get a T-share, right? And that is the base rate right here. 21,234 hex is our share rate, right? Or no, I'm sorry, 21,231 hex at the time that I made this little graphic. So what the calculation I've done here is basically to show you what the absolute minimums would be in order to get yourself one T-share, right? So the minimum amount of money that you would have to spend to get a T-share. And what that equals out to right now is 7,078 hex. And actually, I'm curious what that is. The actual dollar value of that is, so 7,078 hex is $908. So for 908 US dollars, 7,078 hex, if you stake it for 3641 days, 3,641 days. Why that number? I have no idea. That's just the number that's in the contract. That is when the volume bonus multiplier maxes out, right? So when you get to 3,641 days, you get the maximum longer pays better bonus. So that means if you were to go and send this for 5555, the same amount of hex, you would not get any more T-shares. You would still have one T-share exactly. That's what I mean by it maxes out at 3641. So yeah, when you send 7,078 hex out for 3,641 days, you get exactly one T-share, right? And that is the cheapest T-share that you could buy right now, just under $1,000. $908 worth of hex at current prices will get you one T-share when staked for just under 10 years. Now, I do recommend staking that for the full 15.2 years, the full 5555. The reason being, as we know, the share rate only goes up, right? So that means that in 10 years from now, when I make this stake, if I only do it for 10 years and then I want to restake at that time, the share rate is going to be drastically higher in 10 years than it is today, which means you'll have to use a whole lot more hex to get that T-share in 10 years. So that is the advantage to making your stake the full 15.2 years, is you manage to hold on to that T-share at today's share rate for that extra 5.2 years, right? So that's the advantage of staking long, is you're getting the current share rate, and T-shares are only getting more expensive every day that your stake is alive, right? So it's harder and harder for everyone else to get that same T-share as time goes by. So yeah, that's how you get your cheap T-shares today. We'll get that out of here. Sweet. So I don't be caring about the very nice. You going right now? You going to do a Quattro single right now, Franklin? I love it, man. I absolutely love it. All right, guys. So that's it. That's all I got for tonight. Thanks for sticking around. Had a nice audience here today. I think a little about between 60 and 90 people the whole stream. Thank you guys for being here with me. What's up, Dingo Wolf? Yes, Pulse Goddess and duplicated. That's correct. Jawa, yes, I have looked at Maxi. I played around with it on testnet actually. I do like it. I think it's a really good contract, and I think it's going to be a great earning contract as well. I mean, it's a super simple idea, right? Just a max length hex stake pool that, it's trustless. There's no admin keys, so it's completely decentralized and just the way we like it, right? All the best products are being made with those parameters down these days. People are taking richer signals, making good tokens and good contracts that only run with the user, and no third parties necessary. And that's no admin keys. You don't have to give up your keys. You manage to hold on to your coins. Those are the best contracts. And Hexkins are building them all the time. Yeah, Maxi, Hedron, all the good stuff. But yes, I am definitely going to keep my eye on Maximus and see what that does. I think it's going to be a good idea. I think I'm going to definitely throw in. I want to learn a little bit more about it and probably wait to see how it goes and whatnot. But I like the guys who made it. I'm fans of those guys, and I know they're strong members of the community. So I'm sure they built a good product. So I'll be taking a look. Yeah, hit the likes. Thanks, Franklin. Hit the likes before you leave. Subscribe to Discourse Syndicate if you're not already. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for being here with me, guys. I will see you next week. Next Wednesday, we'll be back with episode 45, and hopefully Mr. Sid will be with me. All right, guys. Good night. Buy some hex and stake it.